Welcome to my math class. This is what it looks like once the flipped classroom method has been put into place. Students are engaged in different tasks, and I'm helping out a student here, as you can see, and I'll be going around to check in on other students as we go. Ultimately, we have a couple of goals in this class. The first is that I want students to solve complex math problems and be engaged while they're doing that. By doing a flipped classroom style, we can have a lot of opportunity for that. The second is that I want them to work in real world scenarios and create mathematical models, interpret those models, and so on. So by doing a flipped class, they're always involved in different tasks every day. So how do we get started? That's the real challenge. I decided to show my students my CoETaIL blog and explain to them that I was going to be doing this project about flipping the classroom. Many of them had a puzzled look, so I knew I needed something more. I found a great resource on YouTube from MediaCore that had an excellent way of explaining what flipped classroom looks like. It starts with a traditional class with a teacher in the front and students sitting in clean rows. It then moves on to show a teacher videoing themselves with providing a lesson that students could watch at home with their family. It gives a nice little look of a student practicing the work at home, reviewing the work before they come to class the next day, when they actually get to engage with the learning and engage with the material in different ways, either alone or with other students. And the teacher then has the opportunity to float around and work and provide individual feedback as needed. So of course, in order for this to happen, I needed to create some videos. And what I found during the video creation process was it took me a while to break the ice, but then eventually I would make videos in groups. I would do, 4 or 5 videos at a time and post those out to the students based on the different topics within our geometry unit. Now, as I was going through the process of making these videos, sometimes I would reshoot them, but sometimes I would just say, whoops, I didn't mean to do that or didn't mean to say that, and prepare it like a real lesson where I then go back and change it, just so it feels a little bit more authentic. Overall, I thought it was quite successful with the videos. Ultimately, I would post them out to my YouTube account publicly, so some of the students would follow me through the YouTube channel, but others would go to the website that I created, just a basic Google site where they could go and find the videos that I had posted. The next challenge was then to come up with enough interesting and challenging tasks for the students to work on as they came to class to apply their understanding that they picked up in the videos. And what you're seeing now are just a few examples of students either working together or working alone to support their understanding. And they had the option to do this and to change their tasks throughout the lesson. So I wanted to find out what the students thought about the whole process so far, and I came up with a survey that asked them were they finding the videos helpful or not, and the majority did think so, at least some of the time, which was great to see. We also had a conversation about whether or not that they were honestly coming to class, having previewed the videos and being prepared for class. The majority had, however, there were some honest ones that weren't quite ready to go. Finally, I asked them about whether or not this would be a good style of learning for any math unit, and interestingly, only about half of them thought that yes, it definitely would. Others thought they were unsure because they thought, does it apply to all types of content? In addition to the survey, I wanted to make sure that my students had a voice in providing some feedback on the flipped classroom. The next few clips talk about the benefits and the challenges from their perspective.
I think we learn better this way because Mr. Polson always tells us to challenge ourselves so that we can improve. And this gives me the opportunity to challenge myself because I get to because if we're not doing the flipped classroom, we're all learning one level. We're all he's teaching us all one level, but in the flipped classroom, you get to choose which level you want to start at. And so if I understand something, I can go to a more challenging one and I can challenge myself. I also like it because at home, if I don't understand something, I can rewatch it because if I can't really rewatch it in my brain, I can physically rewatch the video.
One specific thing that helps the flipped classroom helps you learn is, for example, a person in class doesn't like understand us. Like there's people in class that learn quicker and people in class that don't learn as quick. So sometimes they don't understand and they fall behind and they don't know what's happening in class. So the flip classroom videos help you like watch the videos again and understand like what you're doing, what the subject's about.
Student that would have difficulty with the flipped classroom is probably someone that usually forgets to do their homework because they would forget to watch the flipped geometry videos, which is like our actual lesson, which Mr. Polson won't tell us in class, so we would have trouble.
The kid that would have trouble with the flipped classroom is the kid that actually procrastinates. If it's a procrastinator, the person doesn't really watch the videos at home, and they'll have to watch the videos in class and be further behind.
So how did students do overall? Did we meet our learning goals? Was it a successful unit? I definitely think there were some excellent opportunities for learning, for engaging, for critical thinking, for developing solution to problems. I really enjoyed making the videos, and I think the students appreciated having the opportunity to engage as much as they did with the material in class. We ended up having a summative assessment that asked students to be creative, to think about a problem, to come up with a solution that used all of the skills that we had been studying in this geometry unit. So I was very happy to see how well they took to finding solutions to problem and really becoming comfortable using the material and manipulating the formulas as needed in order to solve this geometric problem. So what did I take away from this experience? Well, aside from all of the technological learning that I did around creating videos and editing an iMovie and using YouTube, I really think it was the pedagogical learning, the idea of putting myself out there on the videos and then structuring the classroom, an 80-minute classroom block around different tasks. So enabling students to have choice and have flexibility to engage where they saw the greatest learning potential for them. Now, if I was to do this again, which I definitely think I will, I would consider a few changes. So if you're considering this, here's a couple of tips. I think one thing I'd like to do is try to track how videos are watched, who's watching them, how long they're spending on the videos, and so on, to just get a sense for that. I think I would do videos that had more practical examples. I'd also like to build in something to the videos that had a little bit more of a connection to the classroom. That's the part that I felt a little disconnected by. So overall, I think it was a very successful project, and I'm extremely happy with the outcomes and that I took the challenge on to flip my classroom. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. As far as the summer model goes, I've been trying to think where I've landed, and if the goal is to redefine learning through technology, I'm not sure that I redefined it. I definitely feel as though I got past augmentation, at least in some ways. I modified the task. It certainly had a significant redesign, certainly a significant feel to the way my classroom operated. Mind you, I think for the most part it is an augmented style. So I'm not quite sure I fully met the goal of redefining learning, but I definitely was farther along the summer model than I've been in the past. Something that I promised my students from the very beginning of all this project was that I would share this final video with them. So I'm planning to put the finishing touches on the video and then actually show it to my students for feedback. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what they think and what they think of my editing skills as well. So as far as sharing this work with my colleagues, it's been interesting to see how my teaching partner's class has been working with this same material, this same geometry unit, where we've been doing it as a flipped classroom, they've been doing it as a regular unit of study. Both have been highly successful, so it's been interesting discussions along the way. I've also had the opportunity to work with some of my other grade level math teachers along with the learning coach here at our school to discuss some of the ways that I've been able to implement the flipped classroom and help out others with some tips and tricks as well. So no matter what subject you teach, I think the flipped classroom can be a highly effective way to engage learners with rich learning tasks, to provide excellent opportunities for feedback and discussion, not only amongst myself and the students, but peer to peer as well. So I encourage you to break the ice, create some videos, and give it a try. Thanks for watching.